Welcome back, coin lovers. Today we're exploring classic USA 1-cent coins from 1966, 1979, 1981, 1982, 1985, and 1986, coins that look simple but hide deep history, metal changes, mint stories, and collector value. From pre-zinc copper cents to the famous 1982 transition year, this video is perfect for beginners and serious collectors. Watch till the end to discover which penny could be more valuable than you think. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. First up, the 1966 United States 1-cent coin, commonly known as the Lincoln Memorial Cent, represents a powerful chapter in American numismatic history because it was struck during a time when the U.S. Mint removed mint marks entirely to discourage coin hoarding, making the 1966 penny unique as it carries no mint mark despite being produced in massive quantities, and this coin was composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it a solid copper weight of 3.11 grams that today makes it especially attractive to both collectors and metal content investors. The obverse features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor D. Brenner, symbolizing unity and strength during a decade marked by social change, while the reverse showcases the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparro, a design that itself became historic because Lincoln's statue is visible inside the memorial, making it one of the few U.S. coins to feature the same person on both sides. The 1966 cent was produced in extraordinarily high numbers exceeding billions, which means circulated examples are common, but the true value and collector interest lie in condition, as coins found in uncirculated or mint state grades with full red luster are increasingly difficult to locate due to decades of circulation and environmental exposure. Collectors carefully examine the coin for sharp lettering, strong memorial steps, and minimal contact marks, while error collectors search for off-center strikes, die cracks, double dies, and planchette flaws which can dramatically increase value. Original mint red examples graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services command strong premiums compared to brown or red-brown circulated coins. Historically, the 1966 penny marks an era when copper cents were still the backbone of U.S. currency before rising metal prices forced composition changes in the early 1980s, making this coin a favorite among those building complete Lincoln cent sets, copper hoarders, and educational collectors who appreciate its story. Despite its face value of 1 cent, the 1966 Lincoln cent carries cultural, historical, and material significance that far outweighs its denomination, and as time passes and copper coins continue to disappear from circulation, demand for well-preserved examples continues to rise, securing the 1966 1-cent coin a respected place in American coin collecting history. Next up, the 1979 United States 1-cent coin stands as a historically meaningful and culturally familiar piece of American coinage because it belongs to the final phase of the traditional copper Lincoln Memorial Cent era, a time when the U.S. Mint was still producing pennies with a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving the coin a solid weight of 3.11 grams and a rich reddish-brown tone that modern zinc-based cents can no longer replicate. And this composition alone makes the 1979 penny especially attractive to collectors who value intrinsic metal content as well as historical continuity. The obverse of the coin proudly displays the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, a design first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth and by 1979 had become one of the most recognized and respected images in global coinage, symbolizing unity, leadership, and American identity, while the reverse features the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparro, an architectural tribute that not only represents national pride but also includes the subtle and fascinating detail of Lincoln's seated statue visible within the memorial, making it one of the few coins in the world to show the same historical figure on both sides. The 1979 penny was struck in extremely large quantities at U.S. Mint facilities, meaning circulated examples are still widely found today, yet this high mintage does not diminish its importance because true collector value is driven by condition, originality, and preservation, as decades of circulation have caused most surviving coins to exhibit wear, dull surfaces, scratches, carbon spots, and loss of original mint luster, making high-grade uncirculated examples with full red color, clean fields, sharp lettering, and well-defined memorial steps increasingly scarce and desirable. Professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC often assign significant premiums to 1979 cents graded MS65 or higher, especially those retaining vibrant red surfaces and strong eye appeal. Error collectors also find the 1979 penny appealing as it can be discovered with off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, die chips, clipped planchettes, and occasional double die characteristics, all of which can elevate the coin's value far beyond its face value and transform an ordinary penny into a sought-after collectible. Historically, the 1979 cent holds special relevance because it was produced just a few years before the U.S. Mint was forced by rising copper prices and economic pressures to abandon the traditional copper composition, leading to the famous 1982 transition year and the introduction of zinc core cents, and as such the 1979 penny is often viewed by collectors as part of the last true copper penny generation, making it essential for complete Lincoln Memorial cent collections, year-by-year sets, and educational displays that explain how economic forces shape currency design and composition. Beyond its physical characteristics, the 1979 1-cent coin represents everyday American life in the late 20th century, having passed through countless hands, businesses, and transactions during a period of economic change, inflation, and modernization, and while its face value remains just 1 cent, its historical, material, and symbolic value continues to grow as copper cents slowly disappear from circulation, ensuring that the 1979 United States 1-cent coin remains a meaningful and respected piece of American numismatic history that proves even the most common coins can carry deep stories, lasting value, and enduring collector appeal over time. Next up, the 1981 United States 1-cent coin is widely regarded by collectors and historians as one of the most important late-era Lincoln Memorial cents because it represents the final full year in which the U.S. Mint produced pennies using the traditional 95% copper and 5% zinc composition that had defined American 1-cent coinage for decades, giving the coin its familiar weight of 3.11 grams and a warm reddish copper tone that many collectors consider the true identity of a classic U.S. penny. The obverse of the 1981 cent proudly features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, a design first introduced in 1909 and still admired for its simplicity, dignity, and powerful symbolism of unity and leadership, while the reverse displays Frank Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial design, notable not only for its architectural accuracy but also for the subtle depiction of Lincoln's seated statue inside the memorial, making it one of the rare coins in world numismatics to show the same historical figure on both sides. The 1981 penny was struck in very large numbers at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, resulting in billions of coins entering circulation, which means worn examples are extremely common today. Yet high mintage does not equal low importance because collector interest is driven almost entirely by condition, originality, and preservation, as decades of circulation have caused most surviving 1981 cents to suffer from surface wear, scratches, carbon spotting, dull coloration, and loss of original mint luster, making fully uncirculated examples with bright red color, sharp lettering, strong memorial steps, and clean fields increasingly difficult to locate. Coins graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC often command strong premiums compared to circulated brown or red-brown examples, especially when the coin displays excellent strike quality and attractive eye appeal. Error collectors also actively search 1981 pennies for off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, die chips, clipped planchettes, weak strikes, and minor double die varieties, all of which can significantly increase value and transform a common penny into a desirable collectible. Historically, the importance of the 1981 Lincoln cent extends far beyond its design because it marks the closing chapter of America's solid copper penny era, as rapidly rising copper prices forced the U.S. Mint to reconsider production costs, leading directly to the dramatic composition change in 1982 when zinc core cents were introduced, and because of this, the 1981 penny is often viewed by collectors as one of the last true copper pennies, making it especially attractive to those building complete Lincoln Memorial cent collections, copper content investors preserving intrinsic metal value, and educators explaining how economic pressures influence national currency. Beyond its numismatic value, the 1981 1-cent coin also reflects everyday American life at the start of the 1980s, a period marked by inflation, economic transition, and modernization, during which this humble penny passed through millions of hands in daily transactions, and although its face value remains just 1 cent, its historical significance, copper content, and role as the final representative of a long-standing coinage tradition ensure that the 1981 United States 1-cent coin continues to gain appreciation and respect among collectors, proving that even the most ordinary coins can carry extraordinary stories, deep cultural meaning, and lasting value over time. Next up, the 1982 United States 1-cent coin is considered one of the most important, complex, and heavily studied pennies in American numismatic history because it represents the exact turning point when the U.S. Mint permanently changed the cent's composition due to rising copper prices and economic pressure, making 1982 a historic transition year in which both traditional copper cents and new zinc core cents were produced side by side, creating multiple collectible varieties that continue to fascinate collectors worldwide. The obverse of the coin still features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, a design that had symbolized American unity and leadership since 1909, while the reverse continues to display Frank Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial, complete with the subtle image of Lincoln seated inside the structure, maintaining continuity in design even as dramatic internal changes were taking place. During 1982, the U.S. Mint produced pennies in two different metal compositions, one being the classic 95% copper and 5% zinc weighing approximately 3.11 grams, and the other being a zinc core with thin copper plating weighing around 2.5 grams, making weight the most reliable way for collectors to identify varieties. And in addition to metal changes, the 1982 cent was also struck with different date styles, commonly referred to as large date and small date varieties, further increasing the number of collectible combinations and turning the 1982 penny into a true variety hunter's dream. Billions of 1982 pennies were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, meaning circulated examples are extremely common. Yet despite high mintage, the numismatic importance of this year is unmatched because specific varieties, especially copper small date examples and high-grade uncirculated pieces, can command strong premiums. Condition plays a crucial role in value, as most circulated 1982 cents show wear, discoloration, spotting, and plating damage in the zinc versions, making original mint state red examples with clean surfaces, sharp details, and strong eye appeal increasingly difficult to find. Error collectors pay exceptional attention to 1982 pennies, searching for wrong planchette strikes, off-metal errors, double dies, off-center strikes, split plating, and die cracks, any of which can elevate a simple 1-cent coin into a high-value collectible. Historically, the 1982 Lincoln cent symbolizes the end of an era that had lasted for generations, as solid copper pennies had been a staple of American coinage since the 19th century, and their disappearance marked a fundamental shift in how currency was produced, valued, and perceived. Beyond its metal composition, the 1982 penny also reflects broader economic realities of the early 1980s, including inflation, rising commodity prices, and the need for cost-efficient manufacturing, making it an important teaching tool for understanding the relationship between economics and everyday money. For collectors building Lincoln Memorial cent sets, the 1982 penny is often considered the most challenging modern year to complete due to its multiple varieties, and for copper enthusiasts it represents the final chapter of a beloved tradition. And although its face value remains just 1 cent, the 1982 United States 1-cent coin stands as a landmark in U.S. coinage history, proving that even the smallest and most common coins can reflect major economic decisions, technological changes, and lasting historical significance that continue to captivate collectors and historians alike. Next up, the 1985 United States 1-cent coin represents an important early chapter in the modern era of American penny production because it was struck using the zinc core composition with a thin copper plating that the U.S. Mint adopted to control rising production costs after the historic 1982 transition, making this coin a clear example of how economic realities directly influence everyday currency. The obverse continues to feature Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design that had by 1985 become deeply embedded in American culture as a symbol of leadership, unity, and national identity, while the reverse displays Frank Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial, maintaining visual continuity with earlier copper cents despite the dramatic internal change in metal content. Billions of 1985 pennies were produced at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, resulting in extremely high availability of circulated examples today. Yet this abundance does not eliminate collector interest because zinc-based cents are far more vulnerable to environmental damage, corrosion, and plating failure, making well-preserved uncirculated examples with full original red color, smooth copper plating, and strong strike quality increasingly difficult to locate. Condition therefore plays a critical role in determining value, as coins graded MS65 or higher by professional grading services command noticeable premiums compared to spotted, dull, or corroded pieces. Collectors actively search 1985 cents for plating blisters, split plating, missing plating, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, and clipped planchettes, all of which can significantly elevate a coin's desirability and market value. Historically, the 1985 Lincoln cent is important because it demonstrates the early long-term effects of the zinc core composition, teaching collectors how preservation challenges differ from those of traditional copper pennies and highlighting why many zinc cents do not survive in high grade. Beyond its numismatic aspects, the 1985 penny reflects everyday American life in the mid-1980s, a period of economic recovery, technological change, and expanding consumer culture, during which this humble coin circulated widely in shops, schools, and households across the nation. And although its face value remains just 1 cent, the 1985 United States 1-cent coin holds lasting significance as a key piece in understanding the evolution of modern U.S. coinage, proving that even the most common zinc pennies can carry meaningful historical, economic, and collector value when viewed through the lens of time. Final coin: the 1986 United States 1-cent coin represents a mature stage in the modern evolution of American penny production, reflecting how the U.S. Mint had fully settled into the zinc core, copper-plated composition introduced earlier in the decade as a permanent solution to rising metal costs, and by this year the zinc cent had become a normal part of daily American life, even though it differed greatly from the traditional solid copper pennies that collectors had cherished for generations. The obverse of the 1986 penny continues to display Victor David Brenner's iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, a design that had already surpassed 7 decades of continuous use and had become one of the most recognizable images in global coinage, symbolizing unity, stability, and historical continuity in a rapidly changing world, while the reverse still features Frank Gasparo's Lincoln Memorial design, an image that connects the modern zinc cent visually to earlier copper issues and preserves the symbolic presence of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, making the design historically rich despite the internal metal change. The 1986 penny was produced in extremely large quantities at U.S. Mint facilities, ensuring that circulated examples remain very common today. Yet the zinc core composition introduces new challenges for collectors because zinc is far more reactive and vulnerable to environmental damage than copper, meaning that many 1986 cents suffer from corrosion, bubbling, dark spotting, edge swelling, and plating separation after decades of circulation, which significantly reduces the number of high-quality survivors. As a result, true uncirculated examples with full original red color, smooth intact copper plating, strong luster, and clean fields are far scarcer than their high mintage numbers might suggest, making condition the single most important factor in determining collector value. Professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC assign premiums to 1986 cents graded MS65 or higher, especially those with attractive eye appeal and minimal surface defects. Collectors find the 1986 penny particularly interesting because zinc-based cents are prone to unique errors including split plating, missing plating, blistered surfaces, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, weak strikes, and occasional wrong planchette errors, any of which can dramatically increase value and transform a common penny into a specialized collectible. Historically, the 1986 Lincoln cent illustrates the long-term consequences of the 1982 composition change, showing how modern pennies function differently in circulation, storage, and preservation compared to their copper predecessors. And for educational collectors, this coin provides a clear example of how economic pressures, material science, and minting technology intersect to shape everyday currency. Beyond its physical characteristics, the 1986 penny also reflects the social and economic atmosphere of mid-1980s America, a period marked by economic restructuring, technological growth, and changing consumer habits, during which billions of these coins circulated through shops, schools, vending machines, and households, quietly supporting daily transactions while carrying the enduring image of one of America's most respected leaders. And although its face value remains just 1 cent and it is often overlooked in pocket change, the 1986 United States 1-cent coin holds lasting importance as part of the modern chapter of the Lincoln Cent series, reminding collectors that even zinc-based pennies deserve careful study, preservation, and appreciation, because they tell the ongoing story of how a nation adapts its money to survive changing economic realities while maintaining historical symbolism and continuity. Are you a coin collector or just curious about the hidden stories behind everyday pennies? Discover the fascinating history of USA 1-cent coins from 1966 to 1986. From solid copper classics to the early zinc-era cents, each coin tells a story of American history, economic change, and minting innovation. Watch as we explore rare varieties, errors, and high-grade collectibles that could be worth far more than their face value. Don't miss out. Hit like, subscribe, and join us on this journey through America's iconic pennies. Your next treasure could be hiding in your pocket.